Bandstand. Your local Army recruiter, in cooperation with this radio station, brings you transcribed Army Bandstand, featuring a program of popular music, the music that young America prefers, and today featuring the sounds of Ray Ellis and the orchestra. We'll be speaking with our guest, Ray Ellis, after the orchestra opens the show with Heat Wave.
Tropical heat wave. The temperature's rising, it isn't surprising. She certainly can. She started the heat wave by letting her feet wave, and in such a way that the customers say that she certainly can. She, her anatomy made the mercury jump to 93. Yes, sir, we're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. The way that she moves, that thermometer proves that she certainly can. The temperature's rising, it isn't surprising, she certainly can. And in such a way that the customers say that she certainly can. She, her anatomy made the mercury jump to 93. Yes, sir, we're having a heat wave, a tropical heat wave. The way that she moves, that thermometer proves that she certainly can.
Our pleasure today to be at the studio with Ray Ellis, the orchestra, and the chorus. And Ray, it's our pleasure to have you on the show and to sit in the studio with you.
It's my pleasure to have you here, Jim.
Ray, how did the idea come about for the album entitled I'm in the Mood to Swing, from which the orchestra just played a selection?
Well, let's see. The past 3 or 4 years, with a lot of the vocal backgrounds I've been doing with different artists, with Connie Francis, Johnny Mathis, Four Lads, Tony Bennett, a few other people, I have been using voices as an instrument, blended with brass and with woodwinds. And there's been a lot of albums out in the past year that are featuring voices. But nobody had actually, the way they used the voices was as instruments or just voices singing by themselves. So I figured I'd just get a real good, danceable, swinging feel in it with a big band sound, with a good, solid chorus, singing lyrics. Just good, right on top, not getting too wild, but nice, just a good feel. And I think I got this here now, and it came off wonderful.
Well, we noticed you have a fairly good-sized group in the studio here, and you used all of them on all the selections from the album, Ray?
Well, as you see, we've got 8 brass, 5 reeds, which is usually the regular dance band, 5 rhythm with bongos, and 10 voices.
Well, could you tell us a little bit about the next selection and who's featured on it and who does the work?
Well, Gypsy in My Soul has always been a favorite song of mine. The chorus is featured on this mostly, but it weaves in and out with the band. Actually, everybody's featured, but your voices are on top, so you can always hear the lyric and the song, just the way you want to hear it. There's a few instrumental things here and there, but it's a good commercial sound, I believe.
Okay, we'll give you the chance to get over on the podium, so to speak, and to give the downbeat. And here they are, Ray Ellis, the orchestra, and Gypsy in My Soul.
Gypsy in my soul. There's something calling me from way out yonder. It's just a gypsy in my soul. I've got to give vent to my emotions. I'm only content having my way. There's no other life of which I'm fonder. It's just a gypsy in my soul. No care, no street, my heart has green. If I am fancy free and love to wander, it's just a gypsy in my soul. No care, no street, my heart has green. If I am fancy free and love to wander, it's just a gypsy in my soul.
There you have it, music by Ray Ellis, the orchestra and the chorus, Gypsy in My Soul, and we're going to be speaking with Ray in just a moment again. But first, let's hear this important word.
Young men, now you can choose before enlistment.
And you can be a man among men.
Now you can choose the Army's combat arms, infantry, armor, or artillery if you qualify.
When you select one of the Army's combat arms, you get the additional choice of an overseas area or an airborne unit.
The Army's exciting combat training makes you a man among men.
For adventure and leadership, there's infantry.
For rugged fast action, there's armor.
For guided missile training, there's artillery.
Today, be a man among men through the Army's combat training.
And remember, when you select one of the Army's combat arms, you get the additional choice of an overseas area or an airborne unit.
All of this is your choice before enlistment.
Learn how you can be a man among men.
See your local Army recruiter today.
Once again, our guest on the Army Bandstand show today, Ray Ellis. And Ray, this lullaby of Broadway, the tune you, the orchestra, and the chorus is going to do next, has been done so many times in so many ways. Have you come up with not actually what you would call an original sound, but the arrangement just a little different?
On this, I believe I have, though I'll admit I've used something on this that I wrote when I was in the Army at Fort Knox, in the Army band there. And this starts out with brass, trumpets, in a pyramid style. The song is Lullaby of Broadway, and you know, the New York, New York?
Yeah.
And it starts out boom, 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 in pyramids with the trumpets, which is a pretty unusual effect. But this is an old thing, to me anyway. I used this about 15 years ago in the Army, but it came off wonderful.
Well, let's listen then. Ray Ellis and the orchestra and Lullaby of Broadway.
Come on along and listen to the lullaby of Broadway. And hip hooray and ballyhoo, the lullaby of Broadway. The rumble of the subway train, the rattle of the taxis, the daffodils who entertain at Angelo's and Mac. sees when a Broadway baby says goodnight. It's early in the morning. Manhattan babies don't sleep tight until the dawn. Good night, baby. Good night. The milkman's on his way. Sleep tight, baby. Sleep tight. Let's call it a day. Hey. Good night, baby. Good night. The milkman's on his way. Sleep tight, baby. Sleep tight. Let's call it a day. Listen to the lullaby of old Broadway.
There you have it, The Lullaby of Broadway by Ray Ellis, the orchestra and the chorus. And Ray, it's been our pleasure having you over here, and we'll have to do it again sometime soon.
Anytime, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
Ray Ellis and the orchestra.
Want to learn metalworking? Today's modern Army lets you choose your technical training before enlistment.
You get choice, not chance, because you pick the exact technical training you want, and it's guaranteed in writing before enlistment.
You get a head start on the field that interests you most.
Remember, you choose your technical training before enlistment.
Get choice, not chance. See your Army recruiter now.
Army Bandstand was produced at the Recruiting Publicity Center in New York City for your local Army recruiter. This program was directed by Chief Warrant Officer Charles Brown. The technical director is PFC Arnie Rosen. Now, this is Private First Class Jim Zimmerman reminding you that the Army lets you choose, qualify, and know all before enlistment. It's your Army Bandstand. Your local Army recruiter, in cooperation with this radio station, brings you transcribed Army Bandstand, featuring a program of popular music, the music that young America prefers, and today featuring the sounds of the United States Army Band Orchestra as they play The Eagle Screams. There you have it, music by the United States Army Band Orchestra as they play The Eagle Scream. Once again, back to the vocal side of our program, specialist Steve Lawrence sings Taking a Chance on Love.
Here I go again, I hear those trumpets blow again, I'm all aglow again, taking a chance on love. Here I slide again, about to take that ride again. I'm so starry-eyed again while I'm taking a chance on love. I thought that cards were a frame-up I never would try, but now I'm taking that game up and the ace of hearts is high. Things are mending now, I see a rainbow blending now. We'll have our happy ending now while I'm taking a chance on love. Here I come again, I'm gonna make things hum again. I'm acting kind of dumb again, taking a chance on love. Here I duck again, I feel that I'm in luck again. I'm gonna pass the buck again, taking a chance on love. I walk around with a horseshoe in clover, I lie. And Brother Rabbit, of course, you better kiss that foot of yours goodbye. I'm on the ball again, I'm riding for a ball again. I'm gonna give my all again while I'm taking a chance on love.
Thank you very much, Steve. Very nice job, as per usual. And we're going to have more music for you in just a moment, but first, this important word.
Want to learn electronics?
Now, the modern Army lets you choose your technical training before enlistment.
You get choice, not chance, because you pick the exact technical training you want, and it's guaranteed before you enlist.
You can choose up-to-the-minute training in electronics,
Guided missiles,
radio and TV,
automotive repair.
photography, and many more.
Best of all, you get the training you want or you don't enlist.
See your Army recruiter now. He'll show you how you can choose your technical training. Or, if you want foreign travel, your Army recruiter can help you choose your foreign assignment.
Whatever you choose, your choice is guaranteed before enlistment.
Get the choice of technical training you want, or get your choice of travel.
Remember, you choose before you enlist.
Get choice, not chance. See your Army recruiter now.
From the TV series Peter Gunn, the United States Army Band Orchestra playing the Floater. Time to close our program for today. The entire orchestra closes with Jane's Jump. Young man, your door to success is called Choose It Yourself. That's the name of the Army's latest program to help you plan your own future. The new Choose It Yourself vocational training system gives you the chance to choose any one of more than 50 different Army career groups. You get the chance to specialize in a career of your own choice. Now, to qualify for this program, you need no experience in a chosen field. All you have to do is pass an aptitude test for the field you've selected. The training is guaranteed before you enlist. The career groups cover almost all of today's major job areas. You can have a career in medicine, electronics, communications, and remember, you'll be building your future, and while you're doing it, you'll be getting top technical training with the most modern equipment. Your local Army recruiter, as a representative of the United States Army, can offer you training with a guarantee. See your Army recruiter today. Ask him about the Choose It Yourself training system. You'll be glad you did. Army Bandstand was produced at the Recruiting Publicity Center through the cooperation of the United States Army Band Orchestra, Major Hugh Curry conducting. This show was directed by Chief Warrant Officer Charles Brown. The technical director is Specialist Arnie Rosen. Now, this is Private First Class Jim Zimmerman reminding you that the Army lets you choose, qualify, and know all before enlistment. It's your Army Bandstand. Your local Army recruiter, in cooperation with this radio station, brings you transcribed Army Bandstand, featuring a program of popular music, the music that young America prefers, and today featuring the sounds of Richard Maltby and the orchestra. Music from the television series of, what was the name of it? Mr. Lucky, wasn't it?
Mr. Lucky.
Our special guest today, Richard Maltby in the orchestra. And Richard, welcome to the Army Bandstand Show.
Thank you very much, Jim. It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's talk about Richard Maltby and just how did you get started in the music business? Was it with the band at first, Richard?
Well, Jim, I've been in music ever since I can remember. I just never done another thing ever since someone handed me a Montgomery Ward cornet when I was about 10 years old. And I've just been playing in school and to college and on the road ever since.
Did you start out with an orchestra, or did you start out arranging?
Let's see, I started out right out of school as a traveling sideman, as so many young people do, playing and arranging for some bands around the Midwest, Roger Pryor and Little Jack Little. Now, this is going quite a way back. But I soon felt that the arranging was going to be my most important work, so I gave up the playing end of it, and for about 15 years I was a freelance arranger, primarily in New York, and about 5 years ago I had a chance to do some recording on my own, and had a bit of luck with some of the early singles, like the St. Louis Blues Mambo and The Man with the Golden Arm, and a couple of tunes like that, and suddenly we were in the traveling band business again. It was just no choice but to go out and hit the road.
Let's get back to more music by the Richard Maltby Orchestra. Richard, would you care to introduce the next tune for us, please?
Well, I certainly would. This is another one of Mancini's beautiful melodies, and on this one we feature Dick Perry on trumpet. It's called Softly.
Very nice music indeed. From the TV series of Mr. Lucky, of course, Richard Maltby in the orchestra, a selection entitled Softly. When did you come up with the idea of recording a Mancini album of Mr. Lucky?
Well, we're always looking for good material to record, and frankly, something that will sell. And Mancini has certainly come up with a wonderful series of really good melodies that are somewhat in the jazz field. And so, in looking for material to record, the Camden people suggested that I make my own version of it. We didn't attempt by any means to copy the Mancini originals. Mm-hmm. And so these are my own versions of the same tunes.
Richard, let me interrupt you for just a moment. We're going to have more music, and we're going to talk with you again in just a moment. But first, this important word from the United States Army.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire!
Now you can train for the modern industrial age. Choose your technical training and prepare.
In today's modern Army, you can choose your own technical training and enroll before enlistment.
Yes, you enroll for your technical training before enlistment at no obligation.
You pick up-to-the-minute technical training in construction equipment operation,
Metalworking,
guided missiles.
motion picture photography, and many more.
This training is so advanced that much of it is still unavailable anywhere else.
The Army gives you a head start in the field that interests you most.
Your Army recruiter is the man to see. He can show you how to get your choice of technical training now at no obligation.
You choose before enlistment. You get what you want, or you don't enlist.
For choice, not chance. See your Army recruiter now.
Let's get back to more music from Richard Maltby and the orchestra. Richard, what's next on?
Well, one of the swinging tunes in the album, and another one of these real good Mancini tunes, is one with, I think, just a little fun, too, called Tipsy.
There you have it, music by Richard Maltby and the orchestra, selection entitled Tipsy. And that just about does it for time, Richard. May I say that it's been fine having you and the orchestra on the show, and we'll have to do it again sometime real soon.
Anytime you say. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Want to learn electronics?
Today's modern Army lets you choose your technical training before enlistment.
For choice, not chance, see your Army recruiter now.
Army Bandstand was produced at the Recruiting Publicity Center in New York City for your local Army recruiter. This program was directed by Chief Warrant Officer Charles Brown. The technical director is Specialist Arnie Rosen. Now, this is Private First Class Jim Zimmerman reminding you that the Army lets you choose, qualify, and know all before enlistment. It's your Army Bandstand. Your local Army recruiter, in cooperation with this radio station, brings you transcribed Army Bandstand, featuring a program of popular music, the music that young America prefers, and today featuring the sounds of the United States Army Band Orchestra. Here they are, your United States Army Band Orchestras. They play Skin Deep. Music by the United States Army Band Orchestra, a very exciting tune indeed. Skin Deep. By the way, the featured artist on the drums was George Carroll. We're going to have more music for you. In fact, Specialist Steve Lawrence is going to sing right after this important word from your United States Army.
Want to learn electronics?
Now, the modern Army lets you choose your technical training before enlistment.
You get choice, not chance, because you pick the exact technical training you want, and it's guaranteed before you enlist.
You can choose up-to-the-minute training in electronics,
Guided missiles,
radio and TV,
automotive repair.
photography, and many more.
Best of all, you get the training you want or you don't enlist.
See your Army recruiter now. He'll show you how you can choose your technical training. Or, if you want foreign travel, your Army recruiter can help you choose your foreign assignment.
Whatever you choose, your choice is guaranteed before enlistment.
Get the choice of technical training you want, or get your choice of travel.
Remember, you choose before you enlist.
Get choice, not chance. See your Army recruiter now.
Now, as promised you, here's Specialist Steve Lawrence to sing Tell Me.
Tell me that you love me. Place no one above me. Tell me that you're mine tonight. Hold me in your arms. Let me know your charms. Hold me good and tight. Darling, I adore you. I live for you. I'll be true. Darling, I implore you. Say that you feel the same way too. Then kiss me. Darling, how I pray. Forever and a day, you love me as I love you. Darling, I adore you. I live for you. I'll be true. Darling, I implore you. Say that you feel the same way too. Then kiss me. Darling, how I pray. Forever and a day, you love me as I love you.
Thank you very much, Steve. Specialist Steve Lawrence singing for you a selection entitled Tell Me. Once again, it's time for music. This time we call in the entire United States Army Band Orchestra under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Hugh Curry as they play an old Duke Ellington favorite entitled Bojangles. want to learn electronics, now the modern Army lets you choose your technical training before enlistment. You get choice, not chance, because you pick the exact technical training you want, and it's guaranteed before you enlist. You can choose up-to-the-minute training in electronics, guided missiles, radio, TV, automotive repair, photography, and many more. Best of all, you get the training you want, or you don't enlist. See your Army recruiter now. He'll show you how you can choose your technical training, or if you want foreign travel, your Army recruiter will help you choose your foreign assignment. Whatever you choose, your choice is guaranteed before enlistment. Get the choice of technical training you want, or get your choice of travel. Remember, you choose before you enlist. Get choice, not chance. See your Army recruiter now. Army Bandstand was produced at the Recruiting Publicity Center through the cooperation of the United States Army Band Orchestra, Lieutenant Colonel Hugh Curry conducting. This show was directed by Chief Warrant Officer Charles Brown. The technical director is Specialist Arnie Rosen. Now this is Specialist Jim Zimmerman reminding you that the Army lets you choose, qualify, and know all before enlistment. It's your Army Bandstand. Your local Army recruiter, in cooperation with this radio station, brings you transcribed Army Bandstand, featuring a program of popular music, the music that young America prefers, and today featuring the sounds of Henry Jerome and the orchestra. We'll be speaking with our special guest, Henry Jerome, after he opens the show with Ciribiribin. Music by Henry Jerome and the orchestra, the selection entitled Ciribiribin from the Decca album Brazen Brass. Time now to welcome our special guest to the show today, Henry Jerome.
Hello, Jim, and hello, nice people.
By the way, this is a wild, wild album you have here.
Well, I'm complimented. Thank you.
How did you happen to come about cutting this Brazen Brass album for Decca, Henry?
Well, you're always trying to get a little different sound, and it occurred to me that one sound that had not been tried is the open brass section, open trumpets and open trombones on one side, and muted trumpets and muted trombones on the other side. Mm-hmm. Two separate sections playing against each other, just as in the old dance bands, the brass section played against the sax section, or against strings. And this is pretty much the result of it, and we arranged it to this combination.
How did you come about picking the 12 tunes that are in the album?
That's a good question. That took a lot of time, because you wanted to get tunes, basically, that before you even started the musical arrangement, adapted themselves to this treatment. Mm-hmm. And at the same time get pacing so that, as far as the average person is concerned, it made nice programming to listen to. Mm-hmm. And it was a little difficult to find the tunes that fit.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you could give the people a slight idea of what goes into an album from its inception, from the time it hits in somebody's mind. I mean, the work that goes in, the arrangements and so forth.
Well, first off, as you aptly put it, the programming, the tunes. Secondly, the ideas for the arrangements, exactly what you're going to do. Thirdly, to physically arrange them, and then fourth, of course, is to assemble the personnel, try and get the proper musicians for this treatment. Then, next, go in the studio and physically do the job. Mm-hmm. Through with that, just like any other recording, you try to get the best takes or edit out the best takes. Last but not least, to master out, which is quite a difficult situation with this kind of a thing, because there's so much impact of brass coming at the needle, as you know, that there's a certain amount of distortion, and to try to get a good clean sound and make it come off. And I'm happy to say that, well, it just has come off, and probably most important, more than what you or I think, the people seem to like it.
Yeah. Let's listen to some more Henry Jerome music then. Would you care to introduce the next tune for us, please, Henry?
Well, I'll just say one word: glowworm.
There you have it, music by Henry Jerome and the orchestra, the selection entitled Glowworm. And we're going to have more music for you in just a moment after this important word from your United States Army.
See that modern Army soldier?
He's got the mark of a man.
That soldier is wearing the Army's combat arms insignia.
And most important, he got to choose the combat arms he wanted before he enlisted.
That's true. He qualified so he could pick from infantry, armor, or artillery.
And because he picked one of the Army's combat arms, he got an additional choice.
Right. He got to select an overseas area or an airborne unit.
This choice, too, came before enlistment.
How about you? Can you qualify? Do you want the mark of a man?
Your local Army recruiter will show you how the mark of a man can be yours through the Army's combat arms training.
And after you have selected one of the combat arms, he'll show you how you can select an overseas area or an airborne unit.
For choice, not chance, see your local Army recruiter.
Once again, speaking with our special guest on the Army Bandstand show today, Henry Jerome in the orchestra. And how did you happen to get started in the music business?
I started quite young. I always liked the brass instruments. I used to watch the street parades and whatnot, and the folks bought me a trumpet. That was the start of the whole thing. I organized a band at the age of 12, and I had a band for some 28 years.
Mm-hmm. You know. Henry, do you think the big band will ever come back into its own as it was a few years ago? I mean, other than I realize it is on record, album-wise.
Yes.
But I mean,
I know
as far as
the in-person business.
Tour and so
well, let me answer it this way: that I hope so,
Mm-hmm.
and it isn't basically, Jim, up to you or up to me, but rather up to the people when they decide that they would like to leave their houses and go out and dance a little bit. Also, I think that the youngsters in the old days, when a thing was a hit in the 30s and the 40s, it was a hit for the youngsters on the dance floor, it was a hit at home, it was a hit to the older folks, it was a hit on records, it was a hit on the air, was always the same. As you notice today, it's kind of a split market. The teenagers dance to the teenage kind of music, and their dance steps fit this kind of music, not the band music. Now, when the day comes that once again those steps of the youngsters fit the bands, or shall we say the bands fit their steps, either way, then of course that's going to bring that market together again, and in my humble opinion, I think that will have a great deal to do with it.
Fine. Let's get back to more music by the Henry Jerome Orchestra. The next tune coming up is Janine, I Dream of Lilac Time, Cha-Cha-Cha. And who did the adaptation to the cha-cha on this? Did you do it?
Yeah, it's pretty much my idea, with apologies to the writers.
Let's have more Henry Jerome music then. Music by Henry Jerome and the orchestra, Janine, I Dream of Lilac Time, Cha-Cha-Cha. And may I say, Henry, that the music has been wonderful, and it's been our pleasure having you on the show with us.
Well, I feel just about the same way, and I appreciate you having me.
Thank you very much.
So long, nice people.
Want to learn electronics?
Today's modern Army lets you choose your technical training before enlistment.
You get choice, not chance, because you pick the exact technical training you want, and it's guaranteed in writing before enlistment.
You get a head start in the field that interests you most.
Remember, you choose your technical training before enlistment.
Get choice, not chance. See your Army recruiter now.
Army Bandstand was produced at the Recruiting Publicity Center through the cooperation of the United States Army Band Orchestra, Lieutenant Colonel Hugh Curry conducting. This show was directed by Chief Warrant Officer Charles Brown. The technical director is Specialist Arnie Rosen. Now, this is Specialist Jim Zimmerman reminding you that the Army lets you choose, qualify, and know all before enlistment.